Hey everyone, King of Charmans here. Welcome to one of the most ridiculous editions of the meme teams I've ever done. So anyways, for this little cup, we have this very unique strategy. It's babies, okay? It's 3 babies. It cost me probably around 600k dust. Yeah, more than half a mil, because why not? That's Azurill needs to be max, so it needs to be level 40. Which means you spend a lot of Stardust. If Azurill's hatched, just to do a simple math here, it takes over 200k Stardust alone. And with the second move, that's like 270k. Why not alone, since you hatch it? Pretty much same thing as Azumarill. And Togepi, depending on where you hatch it, well, depending on what your CP is, it's still not cheap. In other words, over 300, 400, probably 600k dust, close to 600k dust for this entire team. Now, it's incredibly memey, but it can win. So, we have Togepi with Hidden Power Poison, Psy Shock, Ancient Power, Bubble, Ice Beam, Bubble Beam, Counter, and Mirror Coat. Why not? Of course. Of course, you need Why Not in this team. It's one of the most powerful things in the game, and it also allows you to do this really interesting strategy. So, this team features some decent coverage. Ironically, I was like, wait, what? When I ran this sim for the first time, I was like, there's no freaking way. And we have great coverage, which is really weird. I'm guessing it's because of that Hidden Power Poison, but here's the strat behind it. You'll see where. Obviously, every team in Little Cup is going to have low bulk, because you aren't going to bait. Yeah, you aren't going to bait very often. And everything just beats the crap out of you, so you don't really know when you worry about bulk. Not safe at all, and for some odd reason, it has really good consistency. So it's really awkward. Now, as you see here for the meta scorecard, this Togepi actually beats Cottonee and Dano. Because Togepi is a fairy type, you do beat Dano with all 3 of these Pokemon, which is freaking ridiculous. You beat Dano, you actually do decent against Shelmet, you beat Igglybuff, but you die against a lot of the common meta. As you see, the potential threats are many, which means you don't have a lot of things you kill with this team. This team is kill or be killed. Actually, there's a very specific strategy you can do with this team, and I'm going to feature it on this. Fortunately, it sports a 6-2-6 meta. I'm not sure if that's like error, like it's like, oh my god, that's bad. That's really bad. Anyways, of course, we're here for the memes, and the memes are strong, and the reason why this team works is because you have Togepi with Hidden Power Poison. Alright, so here's the strategy. The strat is to basically have Togepi get lined up against a Cottonee. A lot of people are using Dano leads. So, because to counter Dano leads, you use Cottonee. Now, Togepi can win against a lot of things without... Yeah, you can win a lot of things with Togepi. You can win against... For example, Togepi beats Wooper, Lickitung. You could beat Wooper, you could beat Lickitung, or... Actually, you lose again. Wooper beats you. You could beat Cottonee, you could beat Dano, you could beat Igglybuff. There's things you can target in this meta, and the goal is to have Togepi basically target Cottonee. We're here so we could target these Powerpuff Cheese Balls and then destroy them. Because if you run the sim... You run the simulation with Togepi. Alright, so fast forward to Togepi and Cottonee. Here's what you get with Hidden Power Poison versus the Cottonee. Here's what you get. You run the simulation. Togepi wins all shield scenarios. What? Yes. If in the one and I don't know how many chance you hatch a Togepi with Hidden Power Poison, you actually beat Cottonee in the lead. So the strategy with this team is to have Togepi win the lead to take out Cottonee or be able to beat what's in the lead, and then you're able to pivot around. Azurill is able to debuff our friend here. Our Azurill, as you see, it's level 40, so it takes a whole lot. Azurill's purpose is to basically, like, literally debuff Bronzor, because if you go straight Bubble Beam, so if you have Bubble Beam, you can make this last a lot. So, as you see, 91 seconds with Bubble Beam. You can stall with a lot with Azurill, and then you can use Why Not to basically run the clock. So in Ultra League, I use Blissey to basically tank damage and run the clock. Why Not is basically Blissey's role. Its purpose is to go against a Bronzor and to basically wall Bronzor. So it's, as you see here, it takes 128 seconds even if you get all shields with bronze. So we can, one match, I think it's 5 minutes. So you can actually, there's a way where you can manipulate the clock to where you can literally, you can make the match last like 3 to 5 minutes with this team. The goal is to bubble beam Bronzor and hopefully get it locked in with Why Not. With Why Not, we can run the clock as much as we can, and then we can juggle our Pokemon around to where something beats what, or we can get into the we can get Pokemon advantage, and we can just run the clock with charge moves. What I mean by Pokemon advantage is the 2 ways to win in the timeout strat is this. You either have to have more Pokemon remaining than your opponent when the time runs out, or a higher HP percentage. Most of the time, we're going to be going for the 3-2s, or the 3-2s more percentage, or you can actually beat someone. Like I said, if we manage to get a Cottony lead, there is a way where we can beat the living hell out of our opponent so that we get the W. Alright, so we have here our team. We've got the Togepi lead, you got the Azurill in the middle, and then you got Why Not in the back. Now, we're hoping that we catch Cottony leads or something that Togepi can beat in the front. As you see, we get a Seal lead. This isn't ideal, especially since this is an Ice Shard Seal. However, we're just gonna shield these Icy Winds, and then we're gonna go throw these Ancient Powers, and hopefully we can either win the switch. We can win switch here, or we force our opponent to switch into us. As you see, we're just gonna throw Ancient Powers and pray for the boost. Unfortunately, Boost Jesus isn't with us today, so I'm gonna just keep going for the boost and hoping that maybe, just maybe, I can get the boost. As you see, this second Icy Wind is going to do heavy damage. We're debuffed ×2, so this is dangerous. So you see here, I do miss quite a little bubbles, thinking my opponent doesn't shield, and they unfortunately don't shield. So now at this point where it's a little dangerous, so I'm just going to let Togepi go. They do Aqua Tail, we do lose Togepi. I'm going to send in Why Not to beat down the Seal for the rest of its HP, and hopefully gather a bunch of energy. Unfortunately, our Why Not isn't able to farm down. We do get Icy Wind, and I do get a whole bunch of energy for my Why Not, but they have a Bronzor. So we send in our Azurill here. Now what I'm going to do is, our only win condition really here is to actually Body Slam through these shields. So I'm going to do double Body Slam, hoping my opponent doesn't shield. They're going to get their own Body Slam off. I will shield this, but I'm hoping they don't shield the next Body Slam. The reason being is we need our Azurill as healthy as possible, because we know that Bronzor is going to come in. So we're going to take out this Dano with the second Body Slam, and then in comes the Bronzor. We're going to Bubble Beam it to death. The good thing about this scenario is that our opponent doesn't have any more Pokemon, so they can't switch out of this debuff matchup. And we have a semi-healthy Why Not to tank the rest of the damage Bronzor can throw at us. As you see here, I'm going to get one more Bubble Beam off and then switch. This Bronzor is -2 attack. Now we can send in our Why Not and shoot all these Mirror Coats off to run the clock. We should be able to win in this scenario. As I mentioned, we have the 2-to-1s. We have 2 Pokemon alive. And with -2, this Bronzor, whether it heavy slams or not, it's not going to do heavy damage to our Why Not. As you see here, Why Not lives with a pretty substantial amount of health after that heavy slam. And all we're going to do is keep throwing these Mirror Coats at this Bronzor. We do grab the last shield. However, I can expect the timer to come up any time now, because it's been quite a bit. We fired a bunch of Bubble Beams. We fired a bunch of Mirror Coats. We've ran the clock pretty hard. And as you see, I'm just going to keep firing these Mirror Coats over and over again. We keep on getting them, and at this point, I'm kind of praying that the clock does come up, and there it is. The clock comes up, and we kind of needed it because our Why Not's almost dead. This last Mirror Coat should run out the rest of the clock. Any charge moves around like 1 to 10 seconds. So after this Mirror Coat, we should get the timer up, and that's GG's. As you see, the timeout strat works, and we get the W. It's nuts. We were able to lock in that Bronzor in the back with the debuff, and we were able to use our Why Not to run the clock. That was an amazing game. I was pretty stunned after realizing that, wow, this is a strat that can work, because I actually didn't come up with this strat up until this stream. So I was like, oh, wow, that actually works really well. So you can use Azurill's Bubble Beam, very similar to my Ultra League Timeout team. For the Ultra League Timeout team, I utilized Articuno, Suicune, And I utilized Why Not. My second version utilized Cresselia, Suicune, and then Blissey. And then I have this version with Togepi, Azurill, and Why Not. Basically the baby version, which uses Bubble Beam, and then a tank, which is Why Not, in the back. As you see, we got the W right there, and I'm just going nuts at this point, because I'm like, I actually won, so we're gonna go again. And we actually get back I'm not going to spoil it for you because this is a pretty epic match. We get Damien for our second match. This here we get Togepi versus the Why Not. This is okay because Togepi is a pure, as you see here, Togepi is a pure fairy type. So because of that, we resist these counters. Now I'm going to keep going for the Ancient Power and pray that we can get to the Ancient Power and I get a boost. Because that Mirror Coat, as you saw, does a lot of damage. I'm hoping my little baby here is able to get the boost, and we don't get the boost. So I'm just going to keep firing the Ancient Power. These Ancient Powers are doing a decent amount of damage, so I'm going to start shielding at this point because I want to preserve as much of my Togepi as possible, and these Ancient Powers are actually chunking. As you see here, we're going to keep firing these Ancient Powers, hoping that I get a boost. I'm literally praying for the boost at this point. The boost would make this so much easier than but the good thing about this is that we're stalling out the clock. That's the good point. We fired off 3 Ancient Powers, so we ran the clock for a pretty substantial amount of time. Now, at this point, I think I let my Togepi go. Yes, I do. I let my Togepi go because I want my shield, and we already ran the clock substantially. I'm going to throw my own Why Not in because we can tank that Mirror Coat, and these counters are doing much damage to us. We're going to gather all this energy to throw at whatever comes in next, or we're going to switch into our Azurill. The great thing about Azurill and what I've noticed is I played a lot like Suicune. You fire Bubble Beam up until you run the switch clock, and then you can get switch. So as you see here, we do get the Bronzer. I'm going to throw this Mirror Coat just because I want to run the clock a little bit, and then I'm able to switch it. And then I'm able... Actually, I don't switch out in this scenario. Oh, no, there you go. There's a switch. I switch into my Azurill, and now I'm going to shield the first one, and then I'm going to tank the subsequent moves. That's a Gyro Ball. It's really good. We shielded, and we get Dado. So this is actually really interesting because I fire the Bubble Beam, and they don't shield it. That's really bad. Now I'm going to fire these Body Slams. Remember match 1 where we put the Dano where we blocked in the Bronzor? Guess what? Same game plan. The problem is I didn't double Body Slam. I would be in a much better position if I Body Slammed because this would have KO'd the Dano. Unfortunately, we're going to eat a crunch, and thanks to our Fairy Resistance, we're able to actually take it. So I don't know if that's a single move Dano, but if it is, thank you. Because we get the Body Slams off, we grab a shield, and I'm hoping to grab one more, but I actually switch out, and I'm actual to... Well, I cue the Bubble Beam, and I switch out into my Why Not. And I'm able, as you see, to counter down, and it works! So now we're in the lock-in matchup. I have a Bubble Beam queued on my Azurill, so if I need to run the clock for a few more seconds, I can throw it in and then run down the timer. I'm hoping we've spent quite a bit of time throwing moves at each other. So at this point, I'm hoping and praying that please, timer, come soon. Yes, there's the timer right there. And then as you see, I'm frantically trying to fire off my Mirror Coats because I want the timer to run out. We should be able to get the timer out now because another charge move wouldn't kill me anyways. And that's GG's. As you see, 2 back-to-back Bronzor locks. And the 3-2. So we have more Pokemon alive than our opponent, and we grab the W. Those battles were absolutely nuts, and that's GG's. Alright, so here I have another match. The third and final match, actually, and this one's actually pretty ridiculous. So if you don't think that babies can get you a W, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to get you a W. We do grab the Cottony lead, like I was talking about, get Togepi, and this poor guy has no idea why this Togepi is absolutely destroying his Cottony. As you see here, this baby is just going to body you with Ancient Powers. Now, we're absolutely destroying our opponent here. We take out the Cottony. We absolutely erase it from existence. This is crazy. My opponent's probably looking at me like, there's no freaking way. That thing just destroyed me. Yes, it did. Now, I'm going to switch into Azurill here. Now, the reason why I switch into Azurill is because I want my Togepi alive, because we want to use it either one as a sack or to use it as or to keep it alive for our more Pokemon. Because we have 3 Pokemon now. And I'm just going to keep on firing Bubble Beams. We get an Incarnate thrown into us, but I'm just going to keep firing Bubble Beams here. This is fine. As you see, these bubble beams are chunking. We're just going to eat all these charge moves from our Ninkata because our opponent is debuffed. And it's Night Slash. Unfortunately, our opponent looks like they don't have Bug Buzz. It's just Night Slash. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep on Bubble Beam. As you see here, these babies are putting in work because these Bubble Beams are chucking a lot of damage. Ninkata is a ground type, so because it's a ground type, Bubble is super effective. And as you see here, this, as I thought, this Ninkata only has Night Slash. We farm down, they send in their Bronzor, and then we fire off these Bubble Beams. I don't know if we actually killed the Ninkata. I think they switched out in time. Yes, they did. So what we're going to do is we're just going to switch our Why Not. We don't want to take one more Confusion because that Confusion will KO. But as you see here, it's fine. You're already -1. -1 is enough, and we can live all of these heavy slams. We're just going to fire as many of these mirror codes as we possibly can. I'm gonna start shielding here because there's no point in keeping any of my shields anymore. We're already at the point to where our opponent is going to have to try to kill us, which they're having a really hard time with right now because they're debuffed. Let's go, Azuro. So my strat here is I'm just gonna keep running the clock as usual. I'm just gonna keep mirror coding you to death, and as I'm actually pretty surprised because we're doing quite a bit of damage here. As you see, the switch clock is already up. I can expect my opponent to send in their Ninkata so that they can clear their debuff pretty soon. We managed to keep firing off these mirror codes. These are actually adding up. And I'm thinking, wow, can we actually just destroy our opponent with straight counters? So as you see here, we're just absolutely destroying this Bronzor right now. Bronzor is getting absolutely annihilated. These counters are chunking its HP. Can we actually take out this entire line of Pokemon without even having to time them out? As you, yeah, it looks like we'll be able to. We still have a shield. The Ninkata in the back is almost dead, and so is this Bronzor. I'm gonna keep tapping away. I keep smacking away at my... Oh my gosh, he tries to sack. I called a sack like I told you. But it doesn't matter, we just counter down, and at this point, this Bronzor is about to get countered down. We literally 3-bar opponent with the timer, and that's GG's. This was a crazy match. Triple babies can absolutely wreck the meta, especially if they have a Cottony lead. GG's, and I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was freaking hilarious, and that was amazing. Those battles were absolutely nuts. In summary, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Those were pretty crazy battles. Yes, why not a giant wall, and it can actually put the timer up a lot. As you see here, Azuro ranks at number 108, and it was pretty nuts just how much work Azuro and even Togepi put in. As you see, I'm not even using the recommended Togepi moveset. You want Hidden Power, Ground, Psyshock, and Ancient Power. But the poison, okay, I went really fancy with the poison Hidden Power, but you know what? It worked out. As you see, I used 2 really ridiculous baby Pokemon, and they actually got the W's for us. Don't ever underestimate the babies, or you will get destroyed. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's been a lot of dust, but I really hope you did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are having fun in Little Cup. If you didn't make rank 10 yet, remember, it's pretty easy, so you're gonna make it pretty soon as long as you're winning. And I will see you on the next video. Oh, and if you guys like this, please like and subscribe. I spent a lot of dust for this video, so I would really appreciate if you like and subscribe. But if you don't, it's fine. I really do. I hope you guys...